In Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16, we find these very familiar words of Jesus, which he spoke right on the heels of the Beatitudes. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. We talked in a recent daily devotional about letting our light shine. So today, let's talk about being the salt of the earth. And I think we'll also see how these two concepts are inseparably linked. What did Jesus mean when he called us, his followers, the salt of the earth? Well, ask yourself the question, what does salt do? There's three things that come to my mind. Number one, salt makes things taste better. Number two, salt makes you thirsty. Number three, salt preserves things. You know, salt has been used to add flavor to food ever since ancient times. In Job 6, verses 6 through 7, Job asks the question, can flavorless food be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? My soul refuses to touch them. They are loathsome food to me. That word loathsome means disgusting and repulsive. In our day and time, this is still the primary use of salt. We put it on food to make it taste better. So how does that idea apply to Jesus' statement that you and I are the salt of the earth? Well, Job said that egg whites are tasteless and therefore were disgusting and repulsive to him. The solution? Just add salt. Think about the world we live in. Without Jesus, this world is disgusting and repulsive. It's like Paul described in Philippians 2, verse 15, a crooked and perverse generation. The solution? Just add Jesus. John said in John chapter 1, in him was life, and that life was the light of men. In a world filled with the darkness of sin, Jesus is the light. He is the answer. And how does he shine his light into the darkness? Through us. We are to let our light shine before men so that they will see our good works and glorify God. Matthew 5, verses 14 through 16. In the midst of this crooked and perverse generation, we are to shine as lights in the world, holding fast the word of life. Philippians 2, verses 15 and 16. God uses us to add flavor to this tasteless, disgusting, repulsive world. God uses us to bring his message of love and hope into a dark and hopeless world, into the lives of people who are desperately searching for purpose and for hope. We are the salt of the earth. We make this world taste better by living for Jesus. Well, salt also makes you thirsty. If you eat a bunch of salty potato chips, it's not going to be long before you're looking for something to drink, because salt makes you thirsty. Think about this. If God is genuinely real to you, if you make decisions every day and live your life every day based on the principles of his word, if the joyful expectation of heaven is what motivates you to keep going even when life is tough, and if the hope you have in Jesus permeates the very fiber of your being, your life is going to look significantly different than the lives of people around you who don't have Jesus in their lives. People are going to notice a different kind of joy about you. People are going to see that you've got something of substance that keeps you going. And somebody, somewhere, sometime, is going to say to themselves, I wonder what's different about them. And someone might just ask you what it is that makes you different. And that's why Peter says in 1 Peter 3, verse 15, always be ready to give a defense or an answer to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you. Because when you live for Jesus, and when that's more than just a cute saying on a bracelet, but is a very real force multiplier in your life, you're going to make people thirsty for what you have. When your soul thirsts for the living God, as the psalmist expressed it in Psalm 42, verse 2, when you hunger and thirst for righteousness, as Jesus expressed it in Matthew 5, verse 6, other people are going to see your passion, and some of them will become thirsty as well. And that creates opportunities for you to introduce them to the only one who can quench their thirst, Jesus, who said in John 7, verse 37, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. And in John 4, verses 13 and 14, everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. And finally, salt preserves things. Now, this isn't nearly as common a use for salt today as it was in the first century, because today if I want to keep some food from spoiling, I just stick it in the refrigerator or the freezer. But back then, they obviously did not have refrigerators or freezers, so they used salt. Listen to what the National Academy of Science said in their 2010 book, Strategies to Reduce Sodium Intake in the United States. Salt is effective as a preservative because it reduces the water activity of foods. The water activity of a food is the amount of unbound water available for microbial growth and chemical reactions. Adding salt to foods can also cause microbial cells to undergo osmotic shock, resulting in the loss of water from the cell and thereby causing cell death or retarded growth. So even in our day and time, the preservative quality of salt is still recognized. In Jesus' day and time, fishermen around the Sea of Galilee, including some of Jesus' own apostles, and even those who bought fish from the fishermen to feed their families, were certainly familiar with the preservative quality of salt. It was customary to pack fish in salt to keep it from spoiling until it could be eaten. So what does this have to do with us being the salt of the earth? Well, as we've already discussed, the world without Jesus is doomed to destruction. So Jesus sends us into the doomed world with the saving message of the gospel, Matthew 28 and Mark 16. Without the gospel, there is no salvation, and people's souls are doomed to rot in the fires of hell. By taking the good news of salvation to a lost world, we are offering them the opportunity to have their souls preserved. You and I are the salt of the earth. As followers of Jesus, that's our purpose and our destiny. So go out there and be salt today. God bless you and have a wonderful, salty day.